I made a very large comparator without using a single one. And in this video, you get to see all the suffering that had to happen for your entertainment. And all we have to do is just connect this line over here. It's backward. And if you like this video and you haven't subscribed already, then do it. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers, and every subscriber gets me closer to a very cool verified checkmark. So enjoy the video. So before we look at this massive lad of a redstone build, we need to know exactly what we actually need to do to make a working comparator. So you know what that means? Comparator lesson time. Yeah, this is the comparator. This is the comparator on the ground. The comparator has 4 main functions. Function 1, it can read items from a container. The fuller the container, the stronger the signal. Function 2, it keeps signal strength. Signal strength in, you get the same signal strength out. Function 3, well, it's in the name. It compares. If the side input is greater than the back, then the output is off. And function 4, subtract mode, and it does exactly what you think it does. It's the back signal minus the side signal, and that is the output. So now we know what we have to do. Now we ask ourselves, how the hell do we do? I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I had no idea what I was doing. The very first thing I did when starting this project was some market research. So I went onto YouTube and I just looked up giant redstone comparator and was concerned to only find one relevant video from over 8 years ago. The video was part of Seth Bling's Mega Block series, and in this episode he showcased a big bed, an end portal frame, and a comparator. Now obviously I'm only interested in the comparator he made, so let's see how it stacks up today. One video watch later, it sucks.
Crafty Masterman, how could you say that about Seth Blanc? He made that 8 years ago. Of course it's bad.
Fair point, dear viewer, but I want you to hold on to that exact thought because we also considered that. Knowing I didn't have the brain power to do this alone, I let someone come and suffer with me, so together with Perry Peregrine, we set off to make the very first fully functional Mega Block comparatorless comparator. Try saying that 10 times really fast. And for it to be complete, we had 4 goals we had to accomplish. 1, it had to output the same signal strength it was inputted. 2, it can compare. 3, it can subtract. And finally, 4, we had to make the entire thing with pre-1.5 redstone. That means only pistons, sticky pistons, redstone dust, torches, and repeaters. So now that we know what we want to do, let's start doing some redstone. We have 3 main circuits that Perry and I have to design. We need a compare circuit, a subtraction circuit, and a way to maintain signal strength throughout the entire build. Let's start with the easiest of the 3, which is the last thing I said because, well, it's already been made. This simple circuit here is older than the comparator itself, and the way it works is really simple. Whatever signal strength is put on one side will be outputted on the other side just using basic repeater logic, and that's about where the easy part ended. Next up was the compare circuit. The first thing we did was make a red coder, which is a redstone circuit that turns a signal strength input into a single output. But we have one problem, 1.16. The classic red coder that everyone knew and loved no longer worked, and newer red coder designs did not work with redstone dust inputs and used comparator inputs instead. So Perry made his own, and as soon as he did that, we realized, wait, why the heck are we using a red coder? That's really overcomplicated. So we went from a fat red coder to an unbelievably simple signal strength compare circuit. The way it works is that the side input is offset 1 block from the back, which means if the side is greater than the back, it will turn off more torches than the bottom. But if it's equal, we will get an output. And finally, our last circuit we need, the subtraction circuit. And my god, this one took forever. We spent a total of 3 whole days trying to make a signal strength subtractor without a single comparator. Our first idea was to convert the signal strength input into a binary value, then use binary subtraction, and then convert it back. And yes, person watching this video, that was very overcomplicated. Eventually, we settled on this far more basic design that used pistons to cut off the redstone wire, subtracting it 1 signal strength each time, and connecting the pistons into the side inputs. So now that we finally have our 3 circuits all done, we can finally look at the giant comparator in action. So first, let's look at the compare circuit. So in front of me, we have the 15 levers that will power the signal strength into the back of the comparator. So if I flick this one over here and we just look up, as you can see, these 2 back torches turn on. And if we just count how many lamps are powered, as you can see, there are 9 lamps powered, plus the redstone dust that can't really power any lamps, so that is a signal strength of 10 on the output. Now we're on one of the side inputs, so let's say I want to put in a signal strength of 13 this time. You see that the 2 back torches will actually turn off, which means the output will also turn off. Lastly, let's check out subtract mode. So if I go to this lever over here, it should give the comparator comparator a signal strength of 5, so the 2 torches will turn on again, and the output is still a signal strength of 5. Now we'll go on the other side input of the comparator, and we'll just flick this lever over here, and this should give the side a signal strength of 3. But this time we're going to click this button over here, just like on a real comparator, and this lamp will light up. So now the comparator is in subtract mode. So with the back signal being a signal strength of 5 and the side signal being a signal strength of 3, that means the output will be a signal strength of 2.
But Crafty Masterman, do we get to see all the redstone? You haven't shown us any.
Yeah, I know, shut up, I'm doing that. Before, after, oh my. So this is the entire giant comparator without that lid on, and to be honest, this is like the first time I'm seeing it. You know, I did obviously have to see it because I world edited this entire thing off, but my god, this thing looks big and complicated and insane looking, and it just looks really weird. It looks like one of those like floating monster thingies that are all veins. There is a lot going on in here, but it still has the same circuits we talked about before. This pink down here, this is the compare circuit. This giant cyan wool clump, this is the subtract circuit. And then we have a ton of other things. These lime inputs are actually the side inputs, using these beautiful repeater chain thingies, and they're connecting into the sides through this other blue repeater chain thingy connecting to the cyan. Yeah, it's a lot of these repeater thingies chaining. And over here in the back input, as you can see, we have another one of these repeater chain thingies that goes into this yellow, then goes into this green, which is the exact same thing, except it folds on itself. It's beautiful. And then it goes into the cyan circuit. There's basically no good way to explain how this massive giant comparator works. I'm just saying right now, the 3 circuit little intro thingy that I did in the beginning, that is basically this entire thing. So yeah, that's the end of the video. 10,000 views and I'll make a giant repeater. Go share it with people.